All right, this one's gonna be a real quick one. Quarter panel is tacked in place. Haven't finished welding it all the way. Still kind of got that, you know, paranoia or skittishness to weld. I left, this is the only one up top, just to kind of help hold it in place with this tech screw. Haven't welded any of these. I left this open. I haven't welded this gap up yet. Bottom is welded though, because the bottom is pushed tight in there and it is good. I think the door needs to kick this way a little bit, like rotate out at the top. So I want to make sure I can get the rotation I need out of the door before I weld this, in case for some reason I need to somehow pull this top out a little bit. The inside is welded. You see the burn marks, those were fun to get to. I took this ratchet extension, fed it in through here, and tapped it down to get the flat in here good and flush up against the rocker, so I'd get a good tight weld. This actually seemed to tighten up pretty nice. Ignore the blobby welds. It had there's a little bit of remaining lead that was in here that I couldn't get out of the scratches, so it didn't want to weld real nice, so it had to kind of burn that away first. But that's in place. Those are good and tight. I have not welded underneath in the seam. I haven't welded this yet. The wheel well is not all the way welded. I welded up this. It's got to be ground. I wanted some input, if somebody could link me a picture or something of how this actually looks, because I don't actually remember. I want to say it keeps a little bit of a flange, but I don't know if I like that. It seems like just a mud trap. So I think what I'm going to do is cut it off right here and just kind of angle it out to this. So it'll go from this and angle back to this point to try to do away with as much of this flange as I can. I just kind of hammered it over at the end and welded it down the seam just to give it pretty much some strength, because this is real thin. In fact, it was wanting to flex a lot on me. I mean, I can bend it with my hand, it's super thin. But I didn't have this rocker. It's like a weird thickness. It's like an in-between gauge, because the next gauge up was too big and this was just a hair too small. But for as small as it was, I wasn't worried about it. Anyways, the back here is welded. I'm hoping I didn't screw this up. Oh, I gotta go back and look at that video. This has like a little bulge in it down this. And after I drilled these holes, I started thinking maybe they welded it on the seam and left this as like a water channel in case water gets in there. But there's still an opening, you know, down here in the bottom that'll probably get seam sealed up anyways, I'm not sure. But I'm gonna just seal this all the way up. What I'm doing is crushing this down and welding it. You can see where I've done it here. At least I think you can see it. Yeah, I'm just crushing it down with the vice grips and welding it. I welded two of the ones on the end here. I still gotta weld, you know, these tech screw spots. And as for the tail panel section, obviously it's not welded, and none of this is. This I left open because I put a note on here. This has to lift a little bit. I already knocked these spot welds loose. This has to raise just a hair to line up with the trunk. This, luckily I remembered, or actually my roommate remembered, that this tail panel is just tech screwed in place. So we pulled it loose and pulled this off because it was rotted on the end. I patched a new piece in. You can see the edges. It has a little bit chopped off at the top here. I'm not gonna worry with it. You can see where the brass brazing was there. But the new panel will pretty much lay over and cover that all up anyways. So I'm just gonna lay the new one on. I ordered today, it was like 15 bucks or 16 bucks or something. Shipping cost 10 bucks, it's almost more to ship it. But there's just some rust converter on top here that's curing, just because it had some pitting underneath there. But I'll weld through primer this whenever I get ready to weld it and throw it back on. You see, that's my measurement just from this back lip to the front, I believe. And then that was to get my alignment here, since I don't have my tech screws to lock me back in place anymore. And then that measurement at 50 and 3/4 is from this lip to the other lip across, to make sure I get that right. Anyways, that's where I'm at, guys. Made a video a little bit longer than I wanted. It's supposed to be like a 2-3 minute, whatever. So, if anyone has some input on this little piece, hook me up with it, please. Because I don't remember the exact how it's supposed to be, but I might just go with my own little mix. Because like I said, this is normally left gapped here too. And I think I'm gonna weld this all the way down and blend it smooth. So this is just, looks like one solid sheet right here. Because you don't have that up front where the fender is anyways. It's just gonna be the door line. It just matches up with the door line a little bit. So I think I'm just gonna close that in. I personally think it looks better. I think most people, or a bunch of people, fill this in with Bondo anyways and smooth it over. So that's where I'm at, guys. Oh, and my roommate cleaned up. Looks a whole lot better. I have a bench again. But guys, thanks for watching. And another couple of days, I should have this tail panel piece and be ready to weld it up. Till then.